What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again, always with another one. And yes, indeed, it is another one. So this is where we at now. Shout out to Donald Trump. Yeah. So Donald Trump stopped by North Carolina to check on things there first before he was, because he was headed to California, things like that. And yes, thank God that we have people in office now with common fucking sense. Now, North Carolina has been left to the wind for quite some time now. It's been a few months, 4 or 5 months now, since that tragedy happened there. Hurricane Helene and Milton right behind it, back to back. And it's insane that, nobody else has talked about this situation or brought it up. We don't even know how these people are doing. There's been no updates or anything like that about the people in North Carolina or South Carolina, any one of those regions and areas and things like that. There's been no updates. So he decided to stop by there. We're going to go here now and we're going to check these things out. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
Everybody, thank you very much. Thank you. North Carolina, it's been a horrible thing the way that's been allowed to fester, and we're going to get it fixed up. Should have been done months ago from the hurricane that took place almost 4 months ago. North Carolina has been treated very badly, so we're stopping there, and we're going to then go to Los Angeles and take a look at a fire that could have been put out if they let the water flow, but they didn't let the water flow, and they still haven't for whatever reason. So I think we're going to have a very interesting time. I think many of you are going with us. If you'd like to have a ride on the plane, we'd love to give it to you. I don't know. Is he going? Is he going? I don't know. I mean, I really don't. Because if he's going to be there, it would be cheaper, but I didn't invite him. Somebody did. Look, whatever it is, it is. He's a good man. I don't know what's going to happen. You never know in those things, but Pete's a very, very good man. I hope he makes it. I hope he.
Only thing, you could barely hear the reporters asking the questions, though.
Makes it. I was very surprised that Collins and Murkowski would do that. And, of course, Mitch is always a no vote, I guess. That's Mitch a no vote? How about Mitch? Huh? You what? Let's see what happens. I did a big pitch for the March for Life. And we look forward to seeing it. I'm going to be watching it. And J.D. Vance, our vice president, is there, and he's going to be representing us very well, taking place in a little while. And other than being a little bit cold, it's a beautiful day. We're all for it. In fact, as you know, I just signed a pardon, and in the pardon we released 23 people that were unjustly put in, having to do with pro-life, and they will be released and they'll be out very shortly. It was disgraceful what happened. That was a persecution.
Yeah, it's a lot of people mad about that. You know what I'm saying? Him signing that pardons.
Will you give Italy a break on terrorists?
Well, I like her very much. Let's see what happens. Have a good time. Everybody.
Okay, so he's touched down now in North Carolina. And before he gets started, this is the thing right here. This has been a very tragic year, this past year, with everything that's gone down, this election, all this crazy stuff that happened. Thank God, you know what I'm saying, we got people in office that are willing to actually try to clear some of this crap up, get things back on track. Hopefully we can get North Carolina back together again, and in other places that were affected by the storms this past year.
Yeah, I thought I was going to California. I said, no, I'm stopping in North Carolina first because they've been abused by what's happened. I mean, it's terrible. It should have been done. It should have been, a lot of things should have happened that didn't happen. So we're here. We're going to fix it out. we're working with the gentleman behind me, and you know who they are, and we're going to fix it. And we're going to fix it as fast as you can. It's a massive amount of damage. FEMA has really let us down, let the country down, and I don't know if that's Biden's fault or whose fault it is, but we're going to take over and we're going to do a good job.
I want to say it's both their fault. The director of FEMA and Biden, then the Biden administration. I want to say it's both their faults because FEMA took money and gave it to all these illegals and stuff like that. And then they basically deleted the budget that we've been paying into as taxpayers. And now they didn't have the money when those storms actually hit. All this was, man, be honest with you, man, God put things in place for a reason with that situation for that storm. We had to see that. And, my heart goes out to everybody that was affected in that storm and things like that. And also in California too, as well. But yeah, we had to see certain things and things had to be uncovered because the Biden administration and the officials at FEMA and stuff like that, they were doing dirty work out here low key and giving all the money away that we've been paying into for them to keep for actual emergencies like that. It's just ridiculous the way things had been going.
We're going to assign Mr. Watley, who's fantastic, frankly, and the governor and everybody else that's going to work. We're going to supply the money, supply a lot of the money. Maybe you have to chip in something. You'll chip in a little something, like maybe 25% or whatever. But we're going to get it done as quickly as we can. And we want to take care of the people of North Carolina. It's so interesting. Everybody's talking about California, and that's a mess. But I said, I'm not going to California until I stop in North Carolina. So here we are. We're going to go visit the site, and we're going to work with probably 3 of the congressmen, Republican congressmen, who've been fantastic, whose areas have been affected. And with Michael Watley, the governor, and whoever else is, we decide to get involved. Probably less FEMA because FEMA just hasn't done the job. And we're looking at the whole concept of FEMA. I like, frankly, the concept when North Carolina gets hit, the governor takes care of it. When Florida gets hit, the governor takes care of it, meaning the state takes care of it. To have a group of people come in from an area that don't even know where they're going in order to solve immediately a problem is something that never worked for me. But this is probably one of the best examples of it not working. And there's been some others, like in Louisiana, etc. So we're going to be doing something on FEMA that I think most people agree. I'd like to see the states take care of disasters. Let the state take care of the tornadoes and the hurricanes and all of the other things that happen.
I could definitely agree with that. That is a state issue and stuff like that. And, Trump is also not for, overbearing amount of, government control. The states should have the funds for, especially the states that are in areas that get like hurricanes and things like that. And also like in California, the state that they get a lot of fires. They're supposed to have everything lined up for situations like that, but this is where we at here.
And I think you're going to find it a lot less expensive. You'll do it for less than half, and you're going to get a lot quicker response. So that seems to be the recommendation, but we'll be making that recommendation over the next couple of weeks. We're going to go to the site now, and we're going to figure out a plan for really demolition and cleaning, because not a lot's been done. And we're very disappointed in the Biden administration, but we're going to make up for lost time. And I said I'd do that. And this is about the earliest we could possibly be here. And we're honored to be here. This has been a great state. They're great people, and they've really been mishandled. But this group is going to be great, and we're going to get it taken care of. Any questions?
What would your response to FEMA? Do you expect to ask Congress for additional aid for North Carolina and California?
It will be direct. In other words, the aid will go through us. So rather than going through FEMA, it will go through us. And I think maybe this is a good place to start.
I could definitely feel it. Shout out to that. Yes. Because apparently the people that are running FEMA are fucking incompetent. Apparently they are. and they've been showing their rear end this past year. And when that storm hit, they overwhelmingly showed their rear end, because that was crazy. How are you not going to have the funds for, natural disasters, and you're supposed to be FEMA that has the funds for natural disasters?
Because, and in all fairness to the governor, in all fairness to everybody else, FEMA was not on the ball, and we're going to turn it all around. Yes.
A lot of Americans think that this is symbolic of what your campaign was all about. America first, putting your priorities to Americans, even going to California where their policies might have been one of the biggest reasons why they've had these problems. But you're putting the American people first. Your thoughts on that?
We are. Thank you. I like that question. Boy, I want more questions like that. That's even a statement. Thank you very much. He's a good man, that guy. And he's also a very professional reporter, I have to say. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're putting America first. We're putting, in this case, North Carolina and California. We're going to do a good job in California. That is a disaster like, I don't know if we've ever seen anything like it, frankly. They say the biggest in the history of California. I think, has anything bigger than that happened in the whole country ever? It looks like, I don't want to say what it looks like, but you know what I'm going to say. It looks like something hit it. And we won't talk about what hit it, but it is a bad, bad situation. And
yeah, I'm gonna say it, like Hiroshima or something. Yeah, it's bad out there, man. It's bad out there, and they have access to water, low key.
I guess I'm going to meet with some government officials, but I mean, much more importantly, and in California, just to revert to it for a second, millions of gallons of water are waiting to be poured down through already the half pipes that are already built. I mean, they've been up for 40 years. And about 20 years ago, they turned off the water. And it's the water that comes from the Pacific Northwest. Some of it comes out of Canada, and it flows there, and it probably has flowed there for 1 million years. And they turned it off, and they routed out to the Pacific. And in the meantime, you don't have water in the hydrants. You don't have water in the sprinkler systems. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And everyone's trying to figure out, why aren't they turning it back? They say it's the Delta smelt. It's a fish. But I find that hard to believe, but we'll figure it out. And without doing that, you're going to continue to have problems.
President, what are you prepared to do, sir, if OPEC doesn't respond to your call to cut oil prices?
Well, we want to see OPEC cut the price of oil, and that will automatically stop the tragedy that's taking place in Ukraine. It's a butchering tragedy for both sides, by the way. A tremendous number of Russian soldiers are dead. Tremendous number of Ukrainian soldiers, and a lot of people are dead from the bombing of the cities. But right now, it's just bullets whacking and hitting men, mostly men, almost in all cases men. And they're over 1 million men are killed, and they're losing thousands of people a week. It's crazy. It's a crazy war, and it never would have happened if I was president. Would never have happened. This is crazy that it happened, but we want to stop it. Now, one way to stop it quickly is for OPEC to stop making so much money and to drop the price of oil, because they have it nice and high. And if you have it high, that war is not going to end so easily. So OPEC ought to get on the ball, and they ought to drop the price of oil, and that war will stop right away.
Mr. President, funding to Los Angeles because of its sanctuary city policy.
I want to see two things in Los Angeles: voter ID, so that the people have a chance to vote, and I want to see the water be released and come down into Los Angeles and throughout the state.
So, you know what I'm saying? At the same time, though, too, that's the reason why Trump wants to drill in our reserves and things like that, because, yeah, we have more control if we're using our own oil. And OPEC would not have the control that it does now. They would have to, counterbalance that price and things like that if we start drilling for ourselves over here and things like that. And it will be, OPEC wouldn't have no choice but to comply if they want to keep up with the game. OPEC want to make money too, but at the same time, though, too, if they've been allowed to be in a position to be the only people that are distributing oil, around the world, basically, then yeah, they can, sit there and hike everything up and make everything this and that and whoop the woo. But yeah, though, it is what it is at that point.
Those are the two things. After that, I will be the greatest president that California has ever seen. I want the water to come down and come down to Los Angeles and also go out to all the farmland that's barren and dry. They have land that they say is the equivalent of the land in Iowa, which is about as good as there is anywhere on earth. The problem is it's artificial because they artificially stop the water from going onto the land. So I want two things. I want voter ID for the people of California, and they all want it. Right now, you don't have voter ID. People want to have voter identification. You want to have proof of citizenship. Ideally, you have one-day voting, but I just want voter ID as a start, and I want the water to be released, and they're going to get a lot of help from the U.S. Thank you very much. I'll see you in a little while. We'll see you at the site. We'll see you at the...
Yeah, shout out to that. Yo.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Shout out to that. Yeah, it is what it is at this point, man. Thank God Trump has stopped by North Carolina to see what was going on, man. I'm glad to see that, we have a government now that's actually going to, try to put things back together so we could all live good. We could all be, prosperous in this country without all the shaking and baking and the interference of illegals and, get our systems back in place and stuff like that for when tragedies happen and, listen, look, it just is what it is at this point. I'm glad to see that we getting some real sensible people back in office here so we can get things back together. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.